Hey guys, so I'm a day late, but I'm still going to do my weekly comic book review, which is now a weekly thing that I do apparently. So I started out being a day late, got kind of busy with some stuff I didn't want to do, but was forced to against my will. But um, I have some free time now, and I'm going to do it. Comic books. Okay, so this week, yesterday, I picked up 7 comics, and we're going to go through them like last week, one by one, and I'll give a short kind of review and or recommendation of the book. Um, a lot of new arcs actually started this week, which I think is neat. So kind of on a roll with it. Picked a good time to start doing this, I think. And anyway, let's start with Marvel's The Superior Spider-Man. So yeah, I haven't done this in a while. I guess I should catch some people up. So Superior Spider-Man issue 11, going on for wow, almost a year now apparently. Um, So last arc, Doc Ock completely erased Peter Parker from his memory. Doc Ock is in Pete's body, but there's still like some Peter left in the brain. And last arc, Doc Ock completely got rid of it, so there's no more Peter now. Um, and Peter has been acting as kind of a restraint on Doc Ock this whole time. So now he's completely gone. It's just Doc Ock. He's fully in control of Spider-Man and the Peter Parker body, Spider-Man, whatever. And so this is the first issue where we see what he does without Peter. Um, and it's not like much different than what we've seen from the comic previously. It's still mostly Doc Ock's narration. Um, he's still the same character. He's still, arrogant, kind of a know-it-all. Still says I'm the superior Spider-Man at least twice in this book because he has to be better than Peter and whatever. So the start of this new arc, it's about the Spider Slayer. He's going on death row, and everyone kind of shows up because they expect him to have a plan to break out, during the execution. And of course, he does have a plan. And Doc Ock Spider-Man is all like, "I knew you had a plan," and he countered it at every step, except that maybe at the end he didn't realize all the things that Spider Slayer had in mind. Um, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. I think it's too early to say whether or not it's a good arc. I think it's a good setup, but we don't really have. I don't know. There's not too much build-up. It seems like this could kind of be a 1 or 2-parter. Like it's just some guy breaking out of jail. Um, and despite the big change of having more Peter, it doesn't seem like there's anything. It doesn't really affect the book in any meaningful way. I feel it's still largely the same book. Spider-Man is largely the same character without Peter as he has been the past 11 issues, 10 issues rather. So and if you're liking it so far, I mean I'm liking it enough to keep on buying the book. But if you haven't jumped on it already, this doesn't this book isn't. I'm not going to say this book is like, oh, you should totally start reading now. Um, but it looks nice. I mean, I enjoyed the art in this book. I still hate the new costume. Uh, where is it? Yeah, I think the art's well done. I just kind of hate the character design. Just yeah, I don't like. He's too bulky. His feet look dumb. And the goggles still look really stupid. But I mean, it's a good story. It's just kind of a decent middle of the road book. Well, more than middle of the road. It's above average. I mean, I still like. Some people have a problem with Dan Slott's writing. I enjoy it quite a bit. Um, but yeah, nothing too special. Kind of the same old as we've seen from Superior Spider-Man. So if you're continuing the story, pick it up. If not, I mean, if you're interested, this would be a good place to start. It is a new arc. It's shaping up to be. There's action. There's action in it, but it's not like a big build up. There's no huge mystery. There's no really big dramatic question of this arc so far. So if you're waiting for that to get in, then don't buy this book. If you're just want to jump in, say, oh, I wonder what Spider-Man's up to, then go ahead. And yeah. So that's that. Moving on to Green Arrow. So I got I've been on and off with Green Arrow. I reviewed the first couple issues, of course, with Adam, and then I just kind of fell out of it. Just like, it's not really my thing. And then I'm reading it again since Jeff Lemire came on the book a few issues ago, and I guess what I've liked it. He's still going on. It's still the same arc as he started. When did he start writing the book? 18, issue 18. So we're still in that arc. Might have been earlier than 18, actually. I really don't remember. And it's, I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to explain. Like, it's a good story. I think it's a good setup. If like I don't know, I don't really know the character that well, admittedly. Oh wait, no, this is the end of the arc. Well, I don't know. It's hard to tell. It's one of those arcs where it's like it might lead into the next one immediately, or if it's what does it say on the thingy? Actually, does it say conclusion or not anywhere on here? Oh yes, this is the conclusion of the arc. My bad. Sorry. Yeah, but the ending, it's like, yeah, I guess the ending. Okay, so yeah, this is the conclusion of the arc. My bad. I'm sorry, but I guess now you can see a little bit that kind of exemplifies what I'm talking about. I haven't really said it yet, but it's kind of plotting. This arc has been, it's like there's been one big, like, why am I here? What am I doing? Sort of thing from Oliver Queen. He's like wandering through the desert, and you're wondering how he got there, what he's doing there, what's the point. And the whole arc, it's been like told in flashback, like we're introduced to a new villain. I think he's a new villain. I'm not a big, admittedly I don't know the Green Arrow mythos, so I think he's a new villain named Komodo, who apparently knows something about his father, and Green Arrow's origin story, where he was stranded on the island, learned how to hunt, came back, decided to become a superhero. And so that's pretty much the mystery, is like why, what does Komodo know? Was there a bigger reason than just random happenstance that he got stranded on the island? And we're given a lot of information about his origin. It's kind of like, the main plot of this particular book is Oliver Queen is going through a hallucination induced by a mysterious character named Magus, or Magus, or Magus. This guy, and that's his name. And he's kind of going through the past, and he sees his father. He sees the villain Komodo before he was Komodo, and it explains kind of, it reveals a bit more light on the mystery of Green Arrow's origin, or the circumstances of it rather, and how it might have all been planned out. It's hard for me to recommend this book because the pacing is, it's not well paced, I would say. Like this whole arc, I really felt like I wasn't going anywhere, to the point where I didn't even know if I was at the end, like as my prior confusion before. So, but the thing is, despite, like, the pacing is the only problem. I think the characterization's good. I think the dialogue's okay. I think the art has its moments. Like this page. Like, generally, I don't know, I'm not really a big fan of the style. Like, just, not every page looks good, but there are some pages that just look fantastic, I think. And, so the art's really, it's whatever. So I would maybe recommend starting next issue. I mean, I don't know what's happening next month, but that's the beginning of a new arc. Hopefully the pacing will be better. I think maybe it was just the maybe the story that this arc was telling that explains the pacing problems that it's had throughout, where it kind of just feels like nothing's happening. But the rest of it has been really good. Like I said, I like the characterization. I do like the new villain. When there is action, it's pretty well done. It's pretty well choreographed. So I'm going to keep on reading just to figure out, just to see, if the pacing improves. If next arc the pacing doesn't improve, I'll probably stop reading, but, let's not jump ahead anywhere. but this arc, I guess the last 2 pages kind of show an improvement, kind of a like, okay, next issue we're getting a whole lot of action, kind of a promise with like just this last page you have him all gearing up and shit, and he's like ready to, he's ready to fight, and so maybe if you haven't started picking this up, maybe pick it up next month. I guess if you have been reading, I'd keep on reading because it seems like it's finally going to deliver next issue. Of course, that is a problem with many comic books. Like, that's always been a problem, that, oh, next issue will be better because it's constant build-up. But I'm going to keep on reading it. Next up on the docket is Earth 2, issue 13, which, if you watched last week's video, you know I just started reading at this issue after the annual, which I picked up. And I am not disappointed. So it turns out that the Captain Steel that we heard of in the annual, which I thought was a character we've already been introduced to, is introduced in this book, and we get his whole origin story. And the bulk of this book is about the book Captain Steel and what he's doing, and why the people in charge, why the government wants him doing what he's doing. And then there's a bit, so yeah, and then you also get, it's a ensemble book, so it's kind of like a Justice League sort of thing. So I'd say like the main arc of this, well, the main plot of this book is Captain Steel and his mission to go into one of the fire pits to figure out what the fuck the fire pit does. And we get a good kind of a, I don't know if you can hear that. It's like this really loud whistle. So that's why I looked. Where was I? So yeah, we get a pretty good introduction to Captain Steel. A little, we get a nice kind of succinct origin story. We get a hint of what his personality is, why he does what he does, his motivations. And then the other half of the book is Hawkgirl kind of doing reconnaissance, trying to find some stuff. Like I said, I just kind of hopped on, so I'm not exactly sure what she's after. And she runs into the mysterious new Batman, who remains quite the mystery. He's as you can see actually in the page I showed, he's there 1 minute, gone the next, so, or second even. So I am liking this book. I mean, I'm not quite sure what everything is going on, but it seems like they're setting up a lot of mysteries too, so it's probably not just because I haven't been reading, but it's probably like keep on reading to find out the things you don't already know. And like the annual, it's well written, very good characterization. I hope that keeps up through the rest of the book, the rest of the series rather, as you keep on reading, because like I said, I just started reading. I already have a good feel of most of the characters, and I know we're just being introduced to Captain Steel, so of course I'd want a good introduction of him. But it was done well. I feel like I kind of know the guy, and feels like he's been around a bit, even though they're just introducing him. It's like, oh, well, I kind of get him. Yeah, I got it. Good introduction. I like this character. And they're setting up I don't know if this is the beginning of a new arc, I'm pretty sure, too. Doesn't say, but it reads like the beginning of an arc. So I'd say hop on. If you haven't picked up the annual, which I recommended, start here. And new character, you got some Batman action, you got some Shiera, Hawkgirl action. Very action-y book, especially the Hawkgirl part more so than the rest. But yeah, overall a nice balanced book. Nice origin, nice Batman. There we go. So next on the docket is Green Lantern 21. The first issue to come out. It's a new arc. It's a new creative team. No more Geoff Johns. Or Geoff. It's spelled. I like saying Geoff, even though I know his name is Jeff. So, new Geoff Johns. And this new arc, like I said. And it's shaping up to be pretty good. The story begins in medias res, where you have a bunch of new... Okay, so I should give a little history. So, last arc, a lot of the Green Lantern Corps were just killed off. There's this massive war. Big Bad came to Oa, just kind of wiped out a whole bunch of lanterns, including the Guardians, who led the Green Lantern Corps. So now we're starting in medias res of this new arc. We have Hal Jordan leading a squad of new Lanterns against another big threat. All of their ring energy is down, and then we see that the central battery is depowered. And we have this guy in the corner who I'm pretty sure is going to be the new villain. So then after that, we skip to the past, I guess. Yeah. Oh well, the now. So we skip to the present after the future, and we see that Hal Jordan's having some trouble at home with Carol Ferris. Carol's like, "You're a terrible boyfriend," and Van Wilder's all like, "Yeah, I know I'm a terrible boyfriend. That's been our dynamic for the past however long." And so Hal is like, "But I'm Green Lantern. I got responsibilities." And Starfire's like, "Yeah, but I love you, except I don't maybe anymore. But I want to because that's how my powers work." And Hal Jordan's called to Oa, and she's like, and then the remaining Guardians are like, "Hey, Hal, be the new leader of the Green Lantern Corps." And Hal Jordan's like, "Can I think about it?" And then he's like, "Sure, I'll be the leader now." And then Larfleeze attacks, so Hal Jordan has to give out all of these fucking rings, send them across the universe to find new lanterns, and then by the end of the issue they arrive, and now he has to train them all, and pretty much reboot the Green Lantern Corps. So, yeah, I'd say a pretty good book. A lot of exposition, but it's paced well. It doesn't feel like too much exposition. It feels just like, the beginning of a nice story. There's a lot to go off. I mean, there's a lot to really do now that, like, Jeff Johns left a big hole. And I think this is a good way to start filling it. You have Hal Jordan in a new position that I don't think he's ever been in before as a leader. We got a whole bunch of new lanterns coming. We got a new threat. And it's all pretty much set up in this book. So if you want to hop on a Green Lantern, I would do so here. Really, the part with Carol Ferris is the weakest link. But I don't know. I guess you have to have her in. And you still have some old Green Lantern favorites like Kilowog. So yeah, I mean it works as a one-shot, I guess, too, because the Larfleeze, well, not a one-shot, but like if you know what I mean. Like, it doesn't feel like it feels like a nice chunk of story. Like, it doesn't feel like you're getting ripped off. Like, it's all set up for something bigger. It's good. It's a good book. So far, plot shaping up, and it seems like they're really going to build on the Green Lantern mythos, which is always promising. Which always seems like a good idea. Sorry, I'm kind of don't have my thoughts together today. I've just been, I don't know, it's been weird for me lately. So moving on to Action Comics number 21. This is a continuation of a arc that already started. This is part 3 of an arc. So previously, Superman was fighting a thing. And the thing kind of stole his power. Well, it's not Parasite, but it's kind of like Parasite, where it attached to Superman, kind of copied his abilities, and then went on a rampage. And now Superman has to stop the thingy from destroying and killing and being a dick overall. And so that's the beginning of the book. The beginning of the book is really kind of Superman dealing with this thing that he has to deal with, this big thing that's been copying his powers. When Lex Luthor comes along, and Lex Luthor does a thing, and there's a big splash page of Lex Luthor doing a thing. And sorry, I read these all yesterday, and yeah, but So mainly the plot. It's big. It's a big fight. This book. Like there's not much story. I wouldn't say we're at the climax, but we're at the first kind of really big issue wide fight sequence, and it's a good fight. It's a good fight sequence. I mean, we have Superman under red light, so he's weakened. Gives us a nice sense of urgency. And we have the return. I mean, I still don't know when exactly Action Comics takes place, because it's supposed to, I think, take place before the new, just the Superman book, or maybe it's concurrent because they did the Hell on Earth thing, and hey, timelines are messes. But yeah, like the whole book is pretty much one big fight split into two parts. You have Superman versus the hybrid monster, and then Superman versus Lex while under the red lights. And it's a good fight. Like, of course, you know, Superman's not going to die. That already happened once. It's not going to happen again. At least not now without this big advertising push behind it. But it's a good fight. You got you know, you got Superman under the red light, so he's weakened. Lex Luthor's punching him a bit, and Superman wins at the end. Spoiler alert. But it's well done. It's a nice, action-y book. And we finally get some payoff as to the what hybrid is, where it came from. We get some answers. And we got Superman flying around punching shit, which is nice. I like that. I'm a Superman fan. So, I wouldn't start reading the book here, but, I mean, if you've been reading, keep on reading. And if you just want a nice, good Superman fight scene, pick it up. So, next, we only have 2 more books left. How about that? So next, we got Batman Detective Comics issue 21, Start of a New Arc. No, it's not. Wait, is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, yeah, Start of a New Arc. Actually, let me check. It did, like, yeah. Yeah, it's, you know what, I'm just gonna say it's the start of a new arc, because the last arc's pretty much done. Yeah, so, new arc. We got Batman, and, we get a flashback to the events of issue 0. That's how this book begins, where we get reminded that this girl, Mio, existed, who tried to kill Bruce when Bruce was training to become Batman. Apparently, she is back with a vengeance, and she's trying to take down the Bat. Meanwhile, Batman has to deal with Harper Row, who's been a thorn in his side recently. But is still helpful with things because she might be the new Robin, is what people are saying. But like Superman, I guess, this is mostly action. Even though it is the first issue of an arc, we don't get a lot of exposition. It's mainly what we get in terms of exposition is what happened to Mio between the events of issue 0 and now. She became some sort of mystic shadow assassin. Batman comes, punches her a bit, she falls off a building. And then at the end, we kind of get the conceit, not the conceit, but we kind of get the, what this arc is really about. And I don't want to spoil it, but it's a character that personally I'm a big fan of. So, yeah. I like where it's going. Let me just say that. Yeah. So, I guess like Superman, kind of a big, like most of the comics just a big fight. Not a whole lot of setup until pretty much the end, where we're given a hint of what's to come, a really cool hint, of a really cool thing that might come. But it's well done. It's not the smartest Batman book, but hey, that's what Scott Snyder's for, right? And yeah, we get some. I guess we get some more development between Batman and Harper Row, which is nice if she is going to be the new Robin, which is what people are saying, because they really are hinting towards that, especially in this book. Alfred says she's this, and this, and then Batman's like, yeah, just like Damian was. And it's like, oh, I wonder what's happening here. And so yeah, I'd say jump on, especially if you like a certain villain that has to do a lot with assassins and you're wondering where he's been. Then totally jump on this book. Detective has kind of been a up-down sort of book, but this looks like the beginning of a big up. So, I'd recommend it. Also, there's some really good, just really good drawings of Batman here. There's just some really good dynamic, like boom, that's a great picture of Batman. What's another one? This one over here, a little muscly for my taste, but I still really like it. So yeah, art. I'm liking the art in this issue, too. So pick it up if you like good Batman, the good-looking Batman art. Even like here, he's just standing completely still, not really doing anything. I still think it's a cool drawing of him. So so yeah, I mean, oh, and we get a little Man-Bat story at the end, which I don't know if they're gonna kind of splice it in with the rest, and then he'll be the villain of the next arc, or if he's gonna pop up more in this arc. But setting Man-Bat up, and I don't know much about Man-Bat. I mean, he's always been one of the kind of the C-list Batman villains, but they're trying to make him bigger in this, and I'm not offended. I'm not like, oh, what are they trying to do with Man-Bat? This is silly. I think they're kind of handling it pretty well. And so yeah, like I said, I'd pick it up. Good place to hop on. And the last book of the week is going to be Gail Simone's The Movement, #2. So, if you didn't already know, which I won't completely blame you for, I'm a huge fan of Gail Simone. I love her work on Batgirl. I loved her work on Secret Six. Really, I'm a huge fan. So when I heard she was doing a new book, I kind of jumped on it at issue 1. I really enjoyed issue 1. I thought it was a great introduction, especially for an ensemble book like this, a big group book. Kind of introduced us to everyone. And then, of course, issue 2, we're getting a lot more development of everyone. We still, I don't think, have a really big... we don't really have a big arc yet. We don't really have a big plot, really big, tent thing going on. We're still going through introductions and some character development. And really, Gail Simone is great at that sort of thing. Gail Simone, I mean, as she's proved with Secret Six, she's good at team books. She's good at books where people are constantly interacting and having conflicts between each other. And she pulls that off really well. And she continues to pull it off really well in The Movement. So, like I said, in terms of like big plot, nothing's really happening. There's not really a big question going on. It's still just this group of mysterious kind of ragtag superheroes, kind of cleaning up the streets in their own way. And the majority of this book is the interaction between these heroes. We have Mouse over here, and his power, he's basically the Pied Piper, has the power to control rats and talk to them. And during this book, one of his favorite rats dies, and that becomes an issue because he's sad. We also have a conflict between Virtue and this isn't Vengeance, Catharsis. I still haven't learned everyone's names. I'm just bad with names in general. I wouldn't blame Gail Simone for that. I wouldn't blame the writing for it. I'm just terrible with names and remembering things. We have conflict between Virtue and Catharsis. Virtue's all habeas corpus. Catharsis is all like, no, let's beat some shit up. And then she goes out alone on her own to beat some shit up, gets into some trouble. Meanwhile, Virtue's still here trying to kind of really just get the group together and, kind of keep everyone from killing themselves and getting into this big thing. And so, yeah, I mean, they're not really setting up for anything. But I mean, really, I guess what Gail Simone's trying to do with these first couple issues is really explore the characters and their dynamic, and it's an interesting dynamic. They're all interesting characters. There's still a lot of them, so most of them don't get a whole lot of time. But even Vengeance Moth, who gets maybe a page of not screen time, but whatever the comic book equivalent of screen time is, who only gets a page really to herself, you get a lot of good development, and you kind of know where each character is going. You kind of know what part they fill in the team and how they interact with each other, and whether they disagree or agree, and what they want, their own personal motives in joining this group. And I'd pick it up. If you haven't read the first issue, I'd pick up the first issue. I'd pick up this one. Like I said, I'm a huge Gail Simone fan, so I trust that she knows what she's doing, and it's going to be very entertaining and smart. So that's all the books I read today. Well, yesterday, this week, rather. Lots of good ones. But like I said, it's a lot of new arcs beginning, or some arcs are ending, and some right in the middle. But so it's kind of hard to really tell what's going on with a lot of these as of yet. But all of them, I wouldn't say there's a bad book in here. Like I said, each one kind of has its problems. Green Arrow has been plotting, and really that's like my main complaint. Green Arrow is my least favorite book of the week, but just because the pacing is a bit off. Other than that, everything else is pretty standard, except for really Batman. I thought was really good, especially the tease at the end, and not much to say about the rest. Action. Oh, well, Earth 2, like I said, a lot of praise for that. But action was a big fight scene, and Green Lantern was it's kind of a hard to tell beginning, and the movement, great character stuff. So that's really it for this week. Sorry, I seemed a bit scatterbrained, a bit rambly. Stuff's been on the mind, you know. But hopefully next week I will be better at this.